Hey there, people. How are ya? Hope you're doing great as always. And I'm here with you at the Financial Fortress channel, as always, bringing you some new information about investing, right? And it's not going to be any kind of breaking news or, Russia this, Russia that, Fed this, Fed that, interest rates, nothing of that manner, right? Because as an investor, you want to be cool as a cucumber. You have to make a rational decision in the same way a business owner would operate, right? You're just trying to accumulate quality businesses over time. And in such a manner, I always like to learn, obviously, from other people, right? So I'm just bringing you my own experience as one more data point so you can figure out what would be the best decision to make for you, right? For your own portfolio, because we are all, individual with different life experiences, different portfolios, different risk profiles, but learning from each other, we can grow as investors. So I would like to go through basically everything I bought in 2021 and, share with you what have I learned, because obviously I did some buying. Basically, I was, net buyer of the stocks, right? I haven't sold any one share. No position sold, no exits for me. I'm just accumulating, right? I very rarely do some selling. I did some at the very beginning of this year, but that's quite a rare event for me. So let's go through these individual positions and let's learn. And I would like to also put this whole idea into perspective, right? Because if I should talk about my overall investing philosophy, again, it's about accumulation of assets over a long period of time. And I believe that a great long-term investor needs just 2-3 great ideas per year. But those needs to be like a real bangers. You really need to have a really high amount of conviction in each of your picks. They need to be well researched. You need to understand the company through and through. You need to, be familiar with their balance sheet, definitely, make sure that it's a freaking fortress. And as long as you do these steps, you'll do very fine in the long term, right? And another point I would like to mention is that, of course, these 3+1 stocks I have been buying in 2021, they are part of my larger portfolio, right? And, just to be completely honest, right? Basically on all of these new positions, I'm freaking down. But it's fine because, you cannot judge yourself as a long-term investor if, your stock goes down in, this 6-12 month period. That's still fine. If it's like 16 months, then it starts to be maybe a little sus and you need to do some reevaluation. But again, in the long term, you'll do very fine. And just to kind of summarize my 2021, results, I will link a portfolio kind of review or summary, how I beat the S&P 500 last year, right? Quite significantly. But that was all thanks to the positions from before, from year 2018, 2019, and those were the ones that were carrying my portfolio, last year. These 3+1 positions I'll be talking about today, they are the new ones. They are the ones that will bring me the results in 2023, 24, 25, and going forward. So let's start with the first one. And the first one is a banger. It's Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. I have a huge respect for the whole management team, the company, their long-term vision. I've been invested in the company since the DPO. And in very short, if I could, summary in basically like one paragraph, making Palantir your ally, signing a contract with them as a company, will cost you some decent amount of money, right? But thanks to all the data analytics and being able to have, almost this like crystal clear, like a magic ball vision that allows you to make your operations inside your company much more efficient. and use less resources, both in terms of manpower, maybe the raw material input, and everything just faster, smoother, more efficient, making new connections. Like these days, there is just so much data all over the world. We are producing massive amount of data points, and Palantir allows you to make sense of it, right? Because you have this like huge ball of data that's unconnected, unsorted, and Palantir can pull these threads a little bit, here and there, make the new connections, and make you understand how your business operates. And that's insane. So obviously, I'm a big believer in the company, but it will take time for this scenario to play out, right? There are lots of challenges that Palantir is facing. I will be looking into their quarterly earnings that and I will bring you some video with basically I will update my valuation model and show it to you in probably a week or two once it's done, and I will do all the thinking. But that's basically it. I've been buyer of Palantir mainly in the second half of the year when kind of the price action was a little bit kind of trending down, because of course the stock has been very, very volatile, and that's mainly thanks to the Palantir is not really held by institution at this point. It's lots of retails, insiders, and everybody is confused about the company. It's a company with lots of misconception, company that's facing some backlash from certain players. It's a company with a very strong moral compass, which of course it's not for everyone. Not everyone will be pleased with the management team, but it's the company that's aligned with the Western values, and there is a bright future for them. Let's take a look what's the second company I bought. Second stock I've been buying during 2021 is Corsair Gaming. CRSR is its ticker symbol. And the reason I was buying it was that basically the story goes back to like 2020, and I was, thinking about the gaming industry overall, that I should definitely own something that benefits from this huge boom, because obviously gaming is huge. People are spending, I would say almost too much time there. And it basically became a third place, right? We are socializing there, and lots of our daily lives is online, and gaming is basically bigger than movie and music industry combined. But I just couldn't choose a specific company, right? Should it be like the Activision Blizzard with obviously the Call of Duty as his cash cow, or should it be like Take-Two with Grand Theft Auto series, which is obviously hugely profitable, but they've been just trying to squeeze every single dime out of GTA 5, and the 6 at this point was still, like, where is it? And I was even looking in like the Polish CD Projekt Red, and gamers are in a sense quite finicky, and if the game flops, it just has such a huge impact, which obviously happened with CD Projekt Red, right? After some of their latest fiasco, and the stock price basically plummeted. So I was thinking, maybe we should look at it from a different angle. And I just stumbled upon Corsair Gaming, right, as a manufacturer and seller of, all the components, peripherals, big on like the streaming, obviously with like the webcams and all the accessories around, lighting, this kind of stuff. And, Corsair, that's in a sense almost basically a value play, right? It's this huge company with steady revenue stream, steady net income, right? Very comfortable P/E ratio, right? Which is basically, providing some kind of a padding of the stock price. And obviously, Andy Paul has been at the helm of the company for, I think it's like the 3 decades, right? He's, basically like a founder. And I always like founder-led companies, and I would consider him kind of the A-tier CEO. And I like where the company is heading, right? It's basically, almost that principle of like, not looking for the gold, but selling the shovels, right? So benefiting from the whole gaming boom, but not participating correctly. And, if you compare it, to my other pick, right, that I've talked about earlier, Palantir, it's pretty much, much more safer stock in a sense, right? It's just, a company that will do fine, but it's not something that can, go to the moon, quote unquote. But it's something that can provide a very meaningful results over, decent period of time, right? And you know, you don't have to swing for the fences with every one of your picks. So I'm very confident in these positions, again, in the long run, right? I'm really planning to hold the company. There is basically, all the news that might come up can be only positive, right? Once we enter, one of those super cycles in gaming, it's going to be very interesting. So there is, basically several kind of a positive black swan events that might happen, right? Let's say one of the next big hits, let's say GTA 6 comes out. That's gonna be huge. Lots of Corsair components are going to be sold. So yeah, that's about Corsair. Third stock I've been buying in 2021 is Tattooed Chef, ticker symbol TTCF, and it's a play on a huge macro trend. Obviously, as a humanity, we've been experimenting with our nutrition for a long time, right? And if you go to some crazy times like the 60s, we've been smoking on the planes, not really caring. Well, those times are over. But of course, in a couple of years, we might as well see that we've been wrong once again. But at this moment, there is a huge shift towards like a vegetarian, vegan, or some, different alternatives, gluten-free. And it's good that people are, testing different style of the diet, right? Because personally, I believe that, we are all different. What might work for one person might not necessarily work for the other. So yeah, let's do it. Let's try it. Let's try a little bit eliminate meat. Hey, you do you. And obviously, since there is this huge trend, Tattooed Chef is here to capitalize on that. They are making mostly, kind of a frozen food, ready to eat meals, pizza, some kind of bowls, different kind of stuff. And they are innovating like crazy. They are bringing new and very tasty products, right? Many different styles, I would say, very nice kind of packaging, right? Aimed towards more people on the younger side. What they are a little bit struggling with at the moment, I would say, it's the marketing. They are, in a sense, new as a company, right? They had a long history of making products as a private label, right, for different basically like grocery stores, right? Let's say for Kroger, they've made some ready to eat meal, and Kroger put their own sticker on it. But now they are making it under their own brand of the Tattooed Chef. So obviously they are building that brand, right? They need to spend a lot on marketing and basically conquer that, expand, conquer. That's the name of the game. They are having a very good product, but they need to bring it to everyone and just grow, grow, grow. I want to see them, everywhere, expand to a new store and develop much more new products, right? Many new SKUs. So I'm very interested in this story, how this will play out. I like growth stories, and this is one of those stocks that's, it might very well 5x, dare I even say 10x by the end of the decade. I think that's very likely. And obviously I'm putting my own skin in the game as of 2021. And we'll see obviously how this story plays out. But before we kind of wrap this up, I want to tell you one bonus stock I've been buying, and that one didn't go as well as I planned. And obviously, you know what they say, learn from mistakes, but they do not necessarily have to be your mistake. So I will tell you about one of mine, so you do not have to make the same one as I did. And one of the stocks that I bought in 2021 as well was Pershing Square Tontine Holdings. PSTH is the ticker symbol, and it's a SPAC, which obviously they've seen very interesting story, right? Throughout the year, they went very close to the moon and they came right back down. And luckily, I was quite prudent considering PSTH. To be totally honest, I'm quite a big fan of Bill Ackman. even though you have to be really careful about acting on his thoughts and things he says, because there is only one master he really serves, and that's himself and the investor in Pershing Square, right? So he's very intelligent investor, mostly long term, investing in steady cash flow generative businesses. He can often pinpoint some really nice sudden dips, as was the case, for example, with Chipotle. Or recently he bought a big stake in Netflix after this post earning slump. And actually, Netflix is one of the stocks that's exactly in Bill Ackman's alley. Maybe you would not suppose it is that way initially, but when you look at it, Netflix is a cash flow machine, and Bill loves those. But again, now I got a little bit off the rail, and let's get back to PSTH, because I got quite excited about that one when it was announced that it's going to merge with the Universal Music Group, right? Because that was exactly the Bill's alley, you know, kind of the music and getting the royalties out of that one. Whenever you hear the song playing, you just know that there is this little pennies coming your way, and that's when I bought in. But unfortunately, the deal, got scraped, and now everything's hanging in the air. And I, as an investor in PSTH, I'm also, hanging in the unknown. Luckily, I was, prudent with the pricing. So worst case scenario for me is that the PSTH will get dismantled, and I will lose approximately, I think, like 10-15%, because I a little bit overpaid the floor price for the PSTH was $20 compared to other specs, which are usually 10. But since PSTH was 4 billion behemoth, it was $20 per share. I paid like 22, or I bought in several different batches for 21, 22, something along this range. And I'm still holding, just looking how it will turn out. Maybe Bill will surprise us. But again, for me, in a kind of the overall portfolio, it was just like a very small, more like the speculative position. So that's definitely fine. This one didn't turn out well, and you don't need all of your picks to be a complete winners, right? As long as the majority of them will do well, that's perfectly fine. You have to learn from your mistakes as well. So I hope you will be careful when choosing your next investment, because obviously there is lots of factors to play, and only you know your particular situation. So the best thing you can do is just to keep learning, get all the resources you can get, learn from me, other knowledgeable people on the internet, read some books, read the 10Ks, read the balance sheet. Just get 1% better every day, and that's where I would like to leave you. And if you like the video, then there is this like the red button, so if you can a little bit like squeeze it, that would be amazing. Also subscribe if you are not already, that would be swell. And looking forward to have you super soon. Take care.